Iraqi Dinar today. Latest news. The news unfolding today is the kind of seismic shift that currency holders have anticipated for years. An undeniable signal that the long, quiet vigil for the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong is finally concluding. This is not the echo of tired, speculative chatter, nor is it the whisper of unconfirmed marketplace gossip. We are witnessing a clear, traceable movement, a formal activation within the global financial architecture that stands to redefine the status of these two currencies. This movement is so significant in its scope and official nature that it could be remembered as one of the most important currency developments of the current decade, establishing a new reality for long-term holders. For everyone who has diligently held onto these notes, waiting for concrete, verifiable proof of global acceptance, the information now coming to light confirms that your patient adherence to official processes is aligning perfectly with this dramatic new phase. What we are observing with the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong goes far beyond a simple rate fluctuation or a minor market adjustment. It represents the official start of a completely new operational phase, marked by enhanced transparency, structured processing, and direct integration into established international foreign exchange Forex systems. For an extended period, these currencies, while technically recognized, existed in a state of practical dormancy within the major global financial nodes, often sidelined in large-scale exchange conversations due to perceived liquidity issues or complex verification hurdles. This era of stagnation is now definitively over. Reliable reports from within the financial industry confirm that both the dinar and the dong are now actively being processed, authenticated, and circulated through updated, sophisticated Forex frameworks. This unprecedented activity is what financial experts define as a compelling liquidity signal, a clear indication of readiness and organized engagement within high-level financial networks, giving major banks the procedural authority to begin handling transactions with a level of directness previously unseen. The internal response from major banking institutions is perhaps the most telling aspect of this monumental transition. Historically, commercial banks maintained a position of deliberate public neutrality regarding dinar or dong exchanges, frequently citing a lack of clarity on updated rates, insufficient liquidity, or the absence of standardized verification protocols as their reason for inaction. That posture has been irrevocably changed by formal briefings and the rollout of new internal mandates. Banks are currently in the process of digitally overhauling their systems, with foreign currency desks receiving comprehensive new internal guidelines. Staff within currency processing divisions are being actively trained on how to accurately authenticate and verify these specific notes using official, global data sets. This deliberate, widespread institutional preparation is a powerful indicator. Financial institutions do not undertake massive system updates merely on a speculative possibility. They do so because the next official phase of activity is not only anticipated, but already in motion. This new phase brings with it organized processing channels designed specifically for large denominations and includes clear risk mitigating procedures to reduce the historical confusion, delays, and uncertainties that plagued the process. The preparation underway signals a profound shift from avoidance to active readiness, which is immensely important for the holder community. When banks move from a stance of caution to one of operational readiness, updating software and training personnel, it confirms that the structural groundwork has been laid for a new era of currency processing. This preparatory stage ensures that when the appointed exchange window opens, the mechanisms are in place to handle high volumes of large notes efficiently and securely. This systematic preparation is a critical departure from previous, more ad hoc environments, and underscores the official nature of the current transition. Focusing specifically on the Iraqi dinar, the currency has long been recognized for its potential, yet its global accessibility was notably constrained. Challenges such as the existence of high-denomination notes, inconsistent international availability, and a lack of clear, uniform exchange pathways led to years of understandable frustration among holders. The latest intelligence, however, confirms that a highly structured framework is being implemented. The term tiered exchange programs is now being used to describe how notes, particularly larger denominations ranging from 5,000 to 50,000, will be processed. This tiered approach signifies that exchanges will not be a singular one-size-fits-all event. Instead, authorized holders may find themselves able to proceed under distinct, structured categories, which could potentially involve prioritized processing, enhanced valuation options, or access to special contractual rates, depending on established eligibility criteria. The introduction of this tiered system provides the first set of truly actionable steps that large note holders have received in years, moving beyond generalized discussions and speculative hope. The message being transmitted from official financial quarters is unambiguous. Verified, official pathways are opening, and they are opening now without any ambiguity about the timeline. This is a clear, institutional green light, signaling a readiness to engage with the currency on a structured, high-volume basis. The systematic approach ensures that the influx of large denomination notes can be managed in an orderly fashion, maintaining market stability and adherence to international financial compliance standards. For the dinar, this represents a pivotal moment, moving it from a currency of potential to one with a clearly defined global processing mechanism. Shifting attention to the Vietnamese Dong, the trajectory of its current movement closely mirrors the structured recognition phase now affecting the dinar. The Dong has historically been labeled a hold-out currency on the international stage, meaning its extensive domestic use did not translate into a commensurate level of international accessibility or liquidity for global holders. Many worldwide holders purchased and stored the Vietnamese Dong notes based on the future expectation that its global financial visibility would eventually increase. Today, those persistent hopes are being validated by verifiable, real-world financial action. Banks are now openly acknowledging and processing Dong transactions through officially verified systems, and internal updates strongly suggest that large denomination notes may be afforded priority during the initial exchange activities. This simultaneous, coordinated movement of both currencies is tremendously significant. When two currencies that have shared a history of limited global accessibility move concurrently within the official Forex systems, it implies a level of global synchronization, careful, structured planning, and extensive financial coordination operating behind the scenes. This coordinated entry into the same window of official recognition suggests a wider-scale financial strategy is at play, rather than two independent, isolated market events. As both the dinar and the dong gain traction, their coordinated rise enhances the narrative of a broad, organized global financial system update. This synchronization is key to understanding the sheer scale of the shift, confirming that international financial institutions are prepared to handle both currencies within a unified, regulated framework. Given this unprecedented confluence of movement, a crucial question emerges for holders. What practical, actionable steps should be taken right now to ensure seamless participation in this new phase? The answer is centered on organization, meticulous preparation, and absolute adherence to documentation requirements. The primary step involves the verification of every physical note. Authorized exchange centers and participating banks will subject every single bill to rigorous scrutiny for authenticity. This authentication process is dramatically faster and smoother when notes are kept clean, undamaged, and meticulously sorted by denomination, demonstrating the holder's responsible preparation. The second critical step is arranging the notes into clear, organized groups, prioritizing higher denominations for immediate, streamlined access. This organization is based on pragmatic procedural guidelines, as internal protocols often dictate that larger notes may move through the official system sooner due to the aforementioned priority processing guidelines. The third step requires assembling all necessary identification and documentation. Most holders will require a current government-issued photo ID, proof of note ownership, and possibly official serial number documentation, especially for substantial transactions. Careful and complete preparation minimizes delays, strengthens the verification process against potential procedural challenges, and ensures the holder is ready the instant their bank provides the next set of official instructions, making the exchange experience as secure and efficient as possible. Holders must also understand that these ongoing changes are driving a dramatic increase in overall transparency within the currency exchange process. For years, one of the most frustrating obstacles was not the currency's intrinsic value, but the overwhelming lack of centralized, verified information. Individuals struggled to determine accurate exchange rates, identify legitimately participating banks, or confirm authentic exchange pathways. This information vacuum often fostered mistrust, anxiety, and created vulnerabilities to fraudulent schemes. With the official financial channels now formally recognizing the currencies, and with global banks actively participating in structured verification, this transparency is improving exponentially. Rates can now be shared and confirmed through verifiable institutional channels. Official exchange windows can be scheduled and confirmed by major institutions. Procedures are being standardized and made trackable. This unprecedented level of verifiable clarity is something the holder community has not had access to for many years. This structural improvement in transparency represents a significant hard-won victory for all individuals who have maintained their position with patience and unwavering persistence throughout the long period of uncertainty. It fundamentally alters the landscape, replacing speculation with verifiable institutional confirmation, offering a clear path forward. Let's delve deeper into the concept of structured liquidity, a term being widely used by financial experts to describe the current state of these currencies. Structured liquidity signifies that the currency is no longer merely sitting idle as a static store of value. Instead, it is actively being moved, verified, and integrated through formal, organized, and predictable channels. This is an essential prerequisite because every major currency must move in a verifiable, tracked manner before any large-scale international exchange activity can safely take place without risking widespread market instability. This is precisely the state both the dinar and the dong are now entering. These currencies are transitioning into a phase where global markets possess the verified operational capability to process them without the historical baggage of rampant speculation, confusion, or protracted operational delays. It is absolutely critical for holders to grasp the importance of this specific stage. No substantial, globally coordinated currency shift ever occurs without the prior establishment of this structured liquidity. This structural, non-emotional change is a definitive signal that the financial world is not just speculating, but actively preparing for an event of major significance. For many long-term holders, this moment likely feels surreal. They acquired and held these currencies during times when even finding a single, reliably authorized exchange location seemed like an impossible challenge. Now, official, institutional recognition is completely rewriting that narrative. Major banks are now coordinating their efforts on an international level. Their specialized exchange departments are being instructed to prepare for a major influx of activity. Digital verification systems are in place to support large note authentication, and holders are finally being presented with a clear, reliable pathway forward that is grounded in verifiable, official action, not rumor. This profound transition is structural in its nature, and structural financial changes almost always prelude a larger, systematic shift in market status. A frequent point of inquiry concerns contract rates. While the publicly available exchange rates will always be subject to the dynamic conditions of the open market, authorized exchanges often incorporate a contract rate category. These categories are designed to offer potentially enhanced value or more favorable terms to specifically qualified holders. Contract rates are not random or discretionary. They are typically an integral part of structured programs designed to incentivize and facilitate exchanges from early participants or those submitting large denomination collections. These rates are crucial because they can provide a measure of stability and protection against potential, unforeseen market fluctuations. Should contract rate pathways become active during this period of movement, holders who meticulously follow all official, forthcoming instructions, including scheduling appointments and ensuring their documentation is impeccably prepared, may gain access to these more advantageous exchange options. This possibility provides yet another compelling reason why the highest level of organization and preparation is absolutely essential today, more than at any point in the history of these currencies. Responsible action is the gateway to the most favorable possible outcomes. One of the most important practical steps for holders will be the actual bank appointment. Upon arrival, the initial phase will be the thorough verification of the notes themselves. Bank personnel will meticulously examine each note for authenticity using updated reference data and security features. Once the note verification is complete, the holder's identity and proof of ownership documentation will undergo a rigorous review. The notes will then officially enter the bank's processing phase. It is important to note that larger denomination exchanges may require several business days to finalize, particularly during periods of high initial transaction volume. Following the comprehensive processing, official rates will be applied, and the holder will receive their exchanged value through verified, secure financial channels. This entire process is explicitly engineered to be secure, highly structured, and fully traceable. This systematic rigor provides vital protection for the financial institution, the integrity of the international financial system, and, most importantly, provides the highest level of security and assurance for the individual holder, ensuring a legitimate transaction. Timeline expectations are naturally a major focus for the community. While the exact speed of the process is dependent on local demand and institutional capacity, authorized banks are generally expected to follow a consistent, careful sequence. First, they will confirm and communicate internal operating procedures. Next, they will begin the active scheduling of exchange appointments, typically commencing with the large denominations. Following the appointment, the verification and back-end processing takes place. Finally, funds are released according to the established official rates. The key takeaway here is the need for patience. Large note exchanges are complex, multi-layered transactions that require meticulous back-end processing, multiple verification checkpoints, and secure handling. While the process is designed to be careful, it is actively moving, not stalled. Throughout this entire transition, security remains the paramount priority. Financial institutions have significantly increased their monitoring measures, upgraded their fraud prevention systems, and implemented robust tracking procedures specifically designed to prevent and eliminate counterfeit activity. All large transactions will be subjected to scrupulous supervision, and holders will be required to provide identification at multiple stages of the exchange process. These stringent security measures are in place for a straightforward reason: to guarantee that only legitimate holders receive legitimate value. The seriousness with which the global financial system is approaching this security aspect demonstrates the true scale and immense importance of the currency movement now underway. This is a substantial, globally coordinated update involving numerous major financial institutions and verified channels. On a wider global scale, the potential impact of these structural changes is far more profound than many realize. As more major international banks actively participate in the exchange process, the global, legitimate demand for both the dinar and the dong is expected to increase. When verifiable demand rises within an official, regulated system, exchange rates typically experience greater stability, and their market recognition strengthens considerably. This organic growth can generate significant long-term ripple effects, influencing broader trading volumes, overall liquidity, and the currency's perception within international financial circles. The coordinated structural components we are observing today are crucial factors that could contribute to future growth, greater accessibility, and much broader integration into global, regulated markets. In the world of currency, official, verified recognition is the most powerful catalyst, and that recognition is manifesting in real time. The holder community itself is also exhibiting clear signs of heightened, organized activity. Online forums, dedicated discussion channels, and social media groups are buzzing not with speculation, but with preparation. Users are exchanging practical tips on organization, sharing detailed methods for sorting and securing their notes, and actively reviewing the most closely monitored official updates. This widespread community engagement is a strong, organic indicator that the momentum being reported from institutional sources is genuine and tangible. Holders are transitioning from a mindset of passive waiting to one of active preparation and organization. This shift in the collective behavior of the community perfectly mirrors the structural shift taking place within the financial world, demonstrating that both institutions and individual holders are moving forward simultaneously, prepared for the next stage. One of the most persistent misconceptions that holders must guard against is the perceived need to rush the process. The reality is that patient, responsible, and meticulous action is far more valuable than haste. Rushing can introduce errors, lead to disorganization, and ultimately generate unnecessary stress, potentially complicating the exchange process. The most effective strategy is to remain calm, follow all official, forthcoming guidelines precisely, maintain meticulous documentation, and schedule appointments only when officially instructed by the bank. Structured exchanges are specifically designed to protect the integrity and value of your notes. While processing requires time, this ensures accuracy, comprehensive verification, and absolute security. Holders who adhere to this careful, systematic process are the most likely to achieve the maximum possible value and avoid procedural complications. Furthermore, there are several frequently asked questions that are circulating widely among holders right now, all of which point to a new era of clarity. A common inquiry is whether smaller denominations will be exchangeable. The answer is yes, though banks are expected to prioritize the larger notes first to streamline the initial, high-volume processing phase. Another common question is whether appointments are mandatory. For high-denomination transactions, the answer is almost universally yes, as the secure handling and detailed processing of large notes necessitate a scheduled time slot. People also inquire about the guarantee of contract rates. The answer is that contract rate availability is dependent on authorized bank participation and specific program guidelines, but they may be applicable for early, verified holders. Every one of these answers reflects a single, definitive truth. Verifiable, actionable clarity is finally available to the holder community. Looking ahead, the forthcoming stages are shaping up with remarkable clarity and predictability. The large denomination exchanges will likely remain the initial focus, ensuring the highest volume of currency is integrated first. Subsequently, smaller denominations will be processed as the initial demand stabilizes and institutional capacity increases. Following this, more financial institutions are expected to gradually join the official exchange window, which will significantly increase overall accessibility and convenience for all holders. Over a longer time frame, these systematic steps are projected to lead to improved liquidity for both currencies, broader international recognition, and a more consistent, enduring integration across global financial markets. These structural changes represent long-term, fundamental movement, not fleeting spikes in speculative activity. For the multitude of holders who have demonstrated remarkable patience over the course of many years, this moment undeniably marks a true turning point. The journey has been long, often fraught with conflicting information, delayed updates, and persistent uncertainty. Today, that enduring wait is drawing to a close. Financial systems are undergoing active, measurable updates. Major global banks are directly responding to new mandates. Exchange rates are being officially recognized, and the necessary institutional infrastructure is being prepared for immediate use. For the first time in a substantial period, holders are being provided with a clear, verifiable path forward, fundamentally backed by official, institutional systems that are finally acknowledging the status of their currencies in a truly meaningful and actionable way. Before concluding this significant update, we must reiterate a few essential, practical tips to ensure your experience during this transition is as secure and seamless as possible. First, always keep your notes stored securely and meticulously organized by denomination. Second, strictly avoid folding, damaging, or marking your notes, as their physical condition is a factor in the authentication process. Third, commit to using only official, authorized banks or verifiable programs. Never engage with unofficial brokers, private exchange claims, or unverified middlemen. Fourth, ensure you retain organized copies of all your original documentation and any subsequent exchange receipts. Finally, and most importantly, remain vigilant and informed. Official rates, schedules, and procedural guidelines may continue to shift as more banks come online, so staying continuously updated is your best advantage during this powerful and historic transition. Many holders throughout this long period have relied on the advice of respected content creators, financial analysts, and currency experts who consistently emphasize the core principles of patience, extreme caution, and unwavering adherence to official channels. Today, that foundational advice is more relevant and critical than ever before. Combining responsible, organized strategies with the new, powerful movement unfolding within the Forex systems provides every holder with a strong, actionable roadmap for success. If you have waited patiently, maintained impeccable organization of your notes, adhered to safe guidelines, and actively avoided unauthorized shortcuts, your moment of official action is arriving. The financial world is finally confirming what legitimate holders have known all along. These currencies are consequential, and their structural movement is a matter of major global financial importance. As we bring today's historic update to a close, let's briefly summarize the absolute key points that every holder must internalize. The prolonged wait for the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong is concluding now. Major global banks are officially moving to process large notes, and international Forex systems are actively recognizing this movement through structured liquidity. Your meticulous documentation and organization of your holdings are critically essential at this stage. Pathways for special contract rates may be opening for authorized and early participants. International liquidity is measurably increasing. And for the first time in many years, the holder community possesses clarity, an official direction, and institutional confirmation that substantial, real-world structural movement is currently underway. This represents a powerful and rare systemic shift, and by preparing meticulously, you position yourself for the best possible outcome.